Yo. What's good, family? I want to come to y'all this morning and give y'all a little breakdown of some lessons I learned this week. I hate that I had to learn through losing certain family members or just family in general to know how crucial life really is. You know what I'm saying? I just turned 28 and it feels great, but I can't help but to feel like I can be devastated by certain things that didn't go my way. But that makes me ungrateful in somebody else's eyes. But then you don't understand until somebody dies. Just a little something off the top of my head, but I really want y'all to think deep within your own just for a second. You know how they got generational curses in every culture. What about generational gifts, abilities, talents that nobody really speaks about because they're too nervous? Like on the spiritual side, maybe your family's really good at mathematics, numerology, astrology, but just because society puts this brick and mortar, over what's normal and what's not normal, acceptable, we condense and can our abilities because we don't want to fit outside of the norm. Why do we do that to ourselves? I'm really curious to know the answer. Through certain family members transitioning over, it taught me a certain type of responsibility, not for my family only, but for myself and others that are outside of my circle. And what I mean by that is, I had a family member hit me up the other day. This random phone number that I didn't recognize, but I still play cordial. And that person told me how important my presence was in their lives. And I haven't seen them physically in almost, I want to say, 3 or 4 years plus. Now, keep in mind, me and her were close friends, even though we were blood related. We were close friends through a lot of stuff that I don't think we even knew what we were going through mentally and just through our family, right? But I still remained the same in helping her when it came to advice, especially when we got older and distances ourselves when it comes to like, oh, she lives here, I live on the other side of the state, or what have you. But for her to hit me up yesterday and tell me how impactful my listening ear was really taught me something very, very important. You never know. You never know how big of an impact your voice can be on someone that's around you, someone after you, before you. The timing and gap doesn't matter. But just think about how you can affect somebody's life by just telling them yes or no, or just listening to them, giving them constructive advice where you're not downgrading them, but you're teaching them something about yourself and themselves. Still remaining relatable, but not in that kiss ass mentality. Excuse my French for the young ones watching this or listening to this, but I have to keep it all the way real with y'all. So be careful what you say to people that's around you. Don't keep nobody that's around you that's a snake. But anybody that you know can be great, have the patience for them if you don't have it for yourself. Because then watching them grow and blossom can teach you your own patience within yourself. If not, they'll grab you from the dirt, just like you did for them, and teach you what you taught them, but in their own way, to where when they show you, it'll finally click. I had a short conversation with her. Well, no, it went about a couple hours or so, just back and forth, small talking. But it was important small talk. Let me not say it's something that is mediocre or very minuscule, but it was very impactful because she taught me certain things that I didn't know were impactful for her and her kids. And I really want you guys to really just take that time within your family, your loved ones, and your friends to just listen. Just listen for a second. You'll never know what that could do for somebody in the next moment. It could keep them from doing self-harm, talking crazy about somebody else, and that poisonous tree just keeps on dropping down bad apples. But you could be the final stop just by being a presence in somebody's life. Even not even the physical. The physical doesn't always have to be the main goal, but just being present virtually, over the phone, verbally, however you need to, describe it. Just be there. I used to think, based off of what society told me, that I was crazy, I didn't belong, and that I was going to be somewhere that I know I wasn't going to be, and that's not successful, which was a lie, a bold-faced lie, because I had to really tell myself, reprogram myself through others, of me teaching them, showing them the ropes. I found myself. I know that's a little backwards sometimes to what the gurus tell you, but that's the raw truth. I found myself through helping other people through their tragedies. My gift isn't the material things to get. My gift isn't the ability to backtrack and relapse on things that were important to me. My gift is listening, feedback constructively, and spirituality through numerology. And I had to learn that through my personal hardships on top of others' hardships that were in my circle. Whether I knew them or not, they taught me so much in value through the way that they talk to other people, how they talk to me, and how they talk to themselves, most importantly. And just another thing when it comes to losing family, you never truly lose them. Their energy is always around. But their transition can be hard because it's mentally difficult to process the fact that somebody's not going to physically be around you in your presence no more. But then you kind of break it down and be like, okay, this person is here, but in a different way, in a different form, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, the lessons that they taught me without even saying a word. What kind of impact can you leave on people's lives? Circle, big or small, that's so well-rounded, versatile, to where they can remember you when you didn't even say a word, leading by example, leading by attitude and gratitude, never being ungrateful, never being hateful, downgrading anybody around you. If you don't like them, move around. If they don't like you, move around and smash them with success. But build those that are around you that are down, build them up, because they'll be your fort, your foundation, just like you were for them. Just like all my supporters, I love them all because they stick around, because they relate in their own way. I don't try to be something that I'm not, because that always ends up putting me in a bad spot. And I wish more people that look like me spoke this way. Not in an all hoopla concert, let me sell you a ticket in a book or material thing, an item, but just in verbal affirmations. Give me some kind of confidence knowing that, hey, just because you look like me, you can achieve. Even if you don't look like me, you can achieve something great. But we got too many examples of people that want to destroy, and not enough people who want to enjoy the presence of another human being, another soul. We have to change that. That needs to be the new goal. And I know I'm putting a lot of things together that kind of rhyme, but it's not intentionally, I promise. But it just comes to me naturally in time. And I was telling my cousin from earlier in the story, I kind of lost track of my point, I'm sorry. But I was telling her that there's no more excuses. She's still young. Even in her 30s, she's still young. Y'all have to understand that our people, humanity used to live past 100 years because our genetics, our environment, our climate was different. Our way of life was different. We were more in tune with nature for a reason. Ever since we detached from nature and God, our lifespans have changed drastically. Now, who's the fault? Not your mama, not your daddy. Who is it? Who do you point the finger at outside of yourself for the things that you can't control? Now, the other things you can't control, that's a different story. But nonetheless, I told her, you went through what you went through for a reason. You had people that were in your family, your close blood, betray you and stab you in the back, use you to manipulate you for a reason, to teach you a lesson, to get you to your gift. It may not be really understandable right now because you got a little hatred, anger, depression, anxiety high, but it's for a reason. That's the hardship that God really had to put you through, the ringer and the mud, all at once, to get you to finally listen to that gift that's been whistling in the wind, and you want to ignore it because you think you would fit in. That's not your purpose to explain to others why you're here. So live out your purpose before God has to take you off the atmosphere. One other thing before I go, family. Patience is key. Self-belief, it can be developed, but you have to give your opportunity and space for yourself to develop, because you owe it to yourself. The world don't owe you nothing. Why do you think I don't take anything for granted no more? I always had that mentality not to, but I got caught up in the world and the way it thinks a lot of times. But thanks to me being the way that I am in my head, for better or worse, it taught me who I need to be. So think about where you want to be in the future. Think about where you want to be right now. Remember that time you were on a vacation with your feet in the sand and you remember hearing the ocean sounds. What got you to that point? How can you live that same scene over and over again, but not only with you involved, but with your family and your friends? Devote yourself to your goals today, at this moment. Use your 9 to 5 to pay your career off, to pay your dreams off. Use it as a stepping stone to the bricks that build your castle, that build your throne. Because like I said to you guys before in a lot of other episodes, the world don't owe you nothing, but you owe yourself and your generations after you everything. But pay yourself first, and more than financial gain. Pay yourself spiritually. Pay yourself in good health. Pay yourself in good physical form. And don't conform to what society wants you to be. Because you were meant to be something different. That's why you're unique. Now think about that before you rest up. And don't never give a, you know what? So stay blessed, stay focused, positive vibes only. And don't let nobody ever tell you that you phony. Unless you are, to look yourself in the mirror and understand that sometimes it can be scary, but the bigger picture is going to get you greater. Just be a little patient and everything will come to the surface. And I promise y'all, at the end of the road, it'll be worth it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect, but it will be worth it. I love y'all. Team Life Clarity. Let's go.